Hello everyone. Today I just wanted to talk. Just wanted to make a short primer on basically just like side engines for Yu-Gi-Oh. Basically why we run them, what they do, when to do them, just things to take into consideration. And I have this PowerPoint here. So first, what is an engine? Well, an engine is a combination of cards that work well together, but they don't have enough cards for a full deck. So the largest culprit for this is Fiendsmith that I can think of. Fiendsmith has, I think it's the two main deck monsters, and then it's all spell and traps from there. So you can't build like a full Fiendsmith deck, because you can't build a Fiendsmith pure, because there's not enough cards for it. But I do wish to extend this meaning out to boiling down archetypes to the most fundamental engines, like the Radiant Typhoon engine. It's just like, I think it's literally just Swen, Eldum, and Chant. Let's see. There are other engines. I think the Dragon Magician engine, I think that can be boiled down just like a level 6 spellcaster, D-Mod, and Gaze of Timaeus. But we'll get there later. So, why do we run side engines, and when? Things we have to factor in when discussing these. We have to factor in the accessibility of the engine, the ceiling of the engine, the actual investment it takes to run the engine, and the inherent weaknesses of not just the engine, but the main deck. So, starting off with the accessibility. Is your engine searchable? Can you bridge into it? How reliable is your bridge? I always prefer extra deck bridges over main deck bridges, because your extra deck is always going to be easier to access than your main deck. But there are times when you will want a main deck bridge instead. Or there are some times where you have to run a main deck bridge. For example, GMX, like dinosaurs, run a bridge into Mitsu. They run Archosaur. And I know GMX can use Archosaur to pop the fusion, which is level 8, and they can search Habakiri. That's a main deck engine. Not engine. That's a main deck bridge. It's super easy, super consistent to actually get to. And then you have to ask yourself, how much synergy does the engine have? You don't need an synergy with your engine. It does help. It helps a ton. Like a lot of the Yummy lists, a lot of lists that run Yummy do so because of synergy it has with it, so it can actually get into it super easily. That's just an example, though. I do have an example of a deck list here. This is my Zodiac Tri-Brig deck from Master Duel. I use the Zodiac and Radiant Typhoon engines. It can function as, if you draw Fractal, it functions just fine on its own. But it doesn't have good bridges, but it doesn't need good bridges. Because of the sorry. All of the extra engines just help getting to the main engine quicker. That's the functionality of the engine. So it's Eldum grabs Swen, that goes into X-Saber Invoker, which gets into full Zoo combo, which adds a trident on board. Then you get into your other plays, like your Link plays, and that'll start your proper Tri-Brig builds. I haven't played it for very long. Eventually, at some point, I'll start playing on Master Duel with it, but not for a bit, I don't think. Whoa. Okay. now we're going to talk about investment. Basically, just how much extra deck space, or like how much deck space can you invest into it. So the thing about Mitsu is it can go either way. I've seen some lists run literally just like pre-prep, Habakiri, Murakumo, Saji, Ritual, and Mira. Or like some people will just run 3 prayers, Saji, Habakiri, Ritual, and Mira. And then you can run more than that. Sometimes you run like all three of the little dudes, all 3 of the rituals. And then you run Great Purification as well as 3 prep, prayers, all that good stuff. So, the Radiant Typhoon is... It can be low investment, it can be high investment, but the highest investment as an engine it gets, I think, is just 2 Swen, not 2 Swen, like 3 Swen, 3 Eldum, 3 Vision, MST, and Mandate, and then you have the Link Monster. And I think Tribrig is the only deck that actually runs it like that. And then, I've seen Strikalist that'll just run Vision. I don't think that counts as the actual engine. But I have seen one that runs 1 Swen, 1 Eldum, and Vision. And I think for the combo there's summon Eldum, summon Swen, grab Vision. Vision will get you what you need to do, and then any 2 effect monsters goes into Camellia, which will get you into any of your spells, and that'll get you all of your combos started. Because then you link under Kagari. I think that's how that goes. I'm not a very good Striker player, though. Fiendsmith requires a lot of investment, I would say. A ton. I've seen small investment engines for Fiendsmith. It doesn't get smaller than, like, 3 in extra deck, but nobody runs just 3 in extra deck. Usually people run, anywhere from, like, 5 to 7 extra deck, I would say. And then, it doesn't take that much main deck, because it's... And I've seen people run, like, 2 Lacrima, 3 Engraver, 2 Tract. I usually run 1 Tract, 1 Lacrima, 2 Engraver, and it's fine. You can bridge into it super easily with a ton of different ways. And then we have Dark Magician of Destruction, or like the D-Mod Dark Magician. Talked about it before. If you're playing a Spellcaster engine, or if you're playing a Spellcaster deck, it's super easy to get into. And if you're not, it would take a little bit more, but it doesn't take super much. It's like 5-6 cards main, I'd say. And then 2 an extra. Yeah, because if you're running, Diabell Star, be like 3 Diabell Star is like a bare bones. 3 Diabell Star, Hallowed Azamina, and, Sinful Spoils and Gaze. And then you go into D-Mod and you have everything. And 3 an extra deck in that case, because then you need your Dragoon and your Azamina. I'm told Branded is a high investment engine. I have not played a ton of Branded. But I'm told that if you run a Branded engine, it does drastically warp the way you play your deck, and it does drastically warp your deck. So I would consider that like a high investment. Just because you need a lot. Like, it's not super much. It's only a few in the main. It's like, you need 3 Fav. You need 2 Walbaz, 1 Falbaz, which is just the regular Albaz. 1 to 2 Cartesia and 1 Ecclesia, I think. And then your extra deck. You can run a lot of extra deck stuff, but Depending on what you run, it can be high investment, it can be low investment. But it does drastically change your it does drastically change how your deck performs and how you pilot the deck. So I would consider that a high investment, but it's a high investment for a different reason. Like, Mitsu takes a lot of main space, Requiem, no, Fiendsmith takes a lot of extra. Branded takes a lot of skill, and like, it's just a lot of skill expression and a lot of time to learn. And it's just a whole lot to unpack. It is probably the best engine as of making this video, so it's worth the investment, but just as a heads up is that it will warp the deck. And now we go into ceiling. So, when we talk about ceiling, basically it's how much does the engine do? Like, what does it contribute to your game plan? Is it a starter? Is it end board pieces? Is it both? So, if we go back a bit, DMod is going to add a end board piece. Mitsu adds, usually Mitsu will either add breakers as like something to, adds like extra bits of interaction to attack, like to punch through things, or it just adds a little extra to your end board. Radiant Typhoon, I'd say every single time I've seen it ran as an engine, it's usually a starter. Almost always. It's entirely because what I've come to understand about Radiant Typhoon. Your Croceyas, your Verurans, the Phonics, all of your endboard pieces are only really good if you're playing pure. They do not mix well in the... they don't mix well at all as an engine, so nobody plays that as an engine. There's a good reason for that. Fiendsmith will activate... Fiendsmith kind of just plays through... Fiendsmith forces interactions and it does add to your end board. Basically throw Caesar, throw Desiree on top of anything, and it makes it so much better. Branded is another one of those where it will add both Ignition and... it adds starters and it also adds end board. But it does help... it adds mostly like a grind piece to your game plan. And a lot of the time you'll see engines adding grind pieces, or not grind pieces, they'll add end board pieces, or they'll be starters. Usually one or the other. Sometimes both. The best engines act as both. So like your Mitsu, your Branded, those act as both. Fiendsmith I feel like Fiendsmith's meta dependent. Because Caesar's not always good. But when Caesar's good, Fiendsmith is good. And now we go into like the weaknesses and how to address the weakness of the deck and the weakness of your engine. So you have to consider what's your deck weak to. And we're not talking about like, we're not talking necessarily about decks it loses to, like decks it's weak to. More of like playstyles, hand traps, things that are important. Like, are you doubling down on the strength of the deck, or are you just covering a weakness? So, for... I'm trying to remember the name of it. Sulfur Cord Yummy, I'm pretty sure it is. Sulfur Cord Yummy actually covers the weakness of Yummy, so it acts as a starter. But, in addition, it provides an end board piece, and it gives them protection against Nibiru, which the main engine is very weak to. It does kind of help a little against Troll, but it's still very trollable. Let's see. Oh yeah, and how much exactly does it help your end board? And does it make your deck more or less consistent for running it? So, if we cycle back to this list, so, what my engines cover for here is it's adding a Trident, but they're all starters. Like, they're all extra starters for the tri-break stuff. Because I don't know if you've seen tri-break starters. Very easy to shut down. Like, a Veiler or an Imperm can do in the right place, can do the trick. But if you have Swen, if you have Eldam, if you have Ratpier, you'll force more engagements. You'll force more. What's the word? You'll force more interactions before you actually get to your tri-break stuff, and that'll actually help you play through your tri-break shenanigans and antics. Because tri-break itself can play through. I feel like it can play through Troll pretty well, and so you have these other things that just don't care, or will force out the Troll, and then you get Fractal, or you send Kit, summon Kit, whatever, and then you're golden. Boop. I can't talk forever about every single deck that runs like a partner engine with it. There are other cases, like your slop decks will run a bunch of end pieces. Like your slop decks. And I'm not saying slop is like Fiend Pile, Spellcaster Pile, Dragon Pile, whatever pile is. No, it's specifically like your Raziel Mitsu, whatever lists. Like, I saw somebody lead a normal Rapier into full Raziel combo, into full Mitsu combo, into Malice. So, I feel like that's sloppy. Basically, we're going back to synergies with slop, because some people would consider this slop, because it's 3 archetypes. But they all work together, they're all Beast Warriors, they're all Tri-Beast types. Like Beast Warrior, Beast... Yeah, Beast, Wing... No, Beast Warrior, Wing Beast, Beast Warrior, Beast... You get the idea. It's all like the same 3 like types. It's a typo strategy. It's just kind of like a Battle City style deck. Slop is like, in my opinion, Slop is like a bunch of completely unrelated archetypes. And the reason why they play these is basically to just run one deck to play through. Like you play like the Raziel Mitsu deck. You play the Raziel stuff, you play through all the interaction, then you activate Habakiri. It's more of using each individual engine to break through things until they get one to stick. And when they get one to stick, that's what's going to win them the game. I know that this isn't very comprehensive. It's not like a full strategy guide, not like a full list. Just hoping it'll help people when they consider what to run with what decks, all that sort of good stuff. If you got this far, thank you for listening. Bye-bye.